You know, the very best theater not only entertains, but teaches. And we're going to learn a lot tonight about a gay icon, Jose Sarria. Here he is, otherwise known as Tom Orr.
It's a secret, darling.
Now, am I speaking to Tom Orr in a dress, or am I speaking to the Empress Norton?
Oh, this is Tom Orr in a dress. Yeah. No doubt about it. But that's the fun of SexRev, the Jose Sarria Experience.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's unlike anything you've ever seen.
I believe that.
It's completely, it breaks, and it takes a theater professional like John Fisher, the artistic director of Theater Rhinoceros. Mm-hmm. He is an award-winning playwright and director. And this was a vision he had last year, and he rewrote it once he cast me. It's my first lead role that I didn't write for myself.
As a leading lady?
Yes! And all the time I've ever done drag before has always been... Halloween, Milton Berle, Flip Wilson, J. Edgar Hoover,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, not that you're not a beautiful woman, but I mean, but no, seriously.
But I didn't know.
Yeah, but no, seriously, there are
Yes.
people out there who weren't born when Jose Sarria was really making history. Let's talk a little bit about what...
Yes, reel it in, darling, reel it in.
Yeah.
The ancient history, the oral history.
Yeah, what is the story behind this wig and this character, Jose Sarria?
Well, and that's what you'll find out in the play, and I'll try to reel it back into what we started talking about. Jose... from 1947 to 1961, held court at the Black Cat Cafe in North Beach.
Here in San Francisco.
Here in San Francisco, by the Barbary Coast. And it was the 50s. There weren't gay bars, per se. And gay people were very much underground. It was code. It was secret hush-hush.
It was illegal.
It was illegal. Drag was illegal. They would say, you're trying to impersonate a woman. You're trying to subvert the morals of innocent seamen. And he got arrested. And... there weren't places that gay people could convene in public except the Black Cat. Because it wasn't just gay people, it was bohemians and poets and beatniks and sailors and longshoremen and tourists and celebrities. And for 14 years, every Sunday, Jose would do a different opera, a one-man spectacle, Carmen and Faust and Aida, and the entire canon. Over 14 years, he did them all. And became the first gay drag celebrity.
Well, and not only the first gay drag celebrity, he became the first openly gay person in the United States to run for office.
Yes,
long before Harvey Milk.
Good 12 years before Harvey Milk even came on the scene.
He ran for supervisor and got several thousand votes.
6,000.
Yeah.
Because he was tired of being the routine raids at the gay bars and walking down the street. You're a star on stage, and the minute you walk out of the thing, there's a cop waiting to arrest you.
Yeah.
So he decided to run for city supervisor to change the laws.
Right.
And it didn't work, but it was the first time that the gay population was considered a legitimate voting bloc.
Right, and again, this was an act of political activism
Yes.
before Stonewall, before Harvey Milk, before any of the things that now we've taken for granted. I remember meeting Jose, this is now maybe 20 years ago.
Oh, good. Tell me a Jose story.
Well, we were doing a campaign about Halloween, and someone said, we want to do a poster of iconic Halloween images. And I said, wouldn't it be great if we could get the Empress Norton? And someone says, well, he lives on Bush Street in the Tenderloin. And so I went and met this charming gentleman. Then he was in his late 60s and went to his apartment, which was a museum of gay history and drag. And he was charming. And now he's how old?
Well, he's an octogenarian. I'll leave it at that. A lady never says her own or anyone else's age.
Right.
But he is still going strong. He was just in town recently. He came and saw the show last year.
What did he think?
He loved it. At first, he was a little apprehensive, as any empress was. And that's not only did he run for city council, city council, but he created the imperial court. They had a Halloween party, and they wanted to name him Queen of the Ball. And he said, darling, I am a queen, and I've been one professionally for many years. I'm the Empress. Hold a press conference. Alert, the House of Windsor, the House of Romanoff, and the House of Pancakes. There's a new Empress in town.
Now, tell people also, the character, the Empress Norton.
Yes.
What's the San Francisco history about that? Why Empress Norton as opposed to Empress
Oh,
or
it's
Smith?
all part and parcel. So he's creating this whole new system. And now, for 50 years on, the Imperial Court is worldwide. Every major city has their empresses. They raise millions of dollars for AIDS and other charities. But at the beginning, it was just a whim. But he decided, I am a revolutionary, original San Francisco character, so I will become the Widow Norton. bereaved wife of Emperor Joshua Norton I, God King Defender of North America and Protector of Mexico.
Who was a real character in early San Francisco history that wandered around the streets.
Dressed up as an emperor.
Right.
And swore to protect everyone. And so they gave him free meals and free taxi rides. And every year, Jose would lead a cortege out to Colma, to his graveside. And there would be leather men with a full 21-gun salute, and drag queens and widows' wreaths, and they would lay flowers and sing songs and have brunch. And now and they still do it every year.
Right. Do you think that Jose saw himself as a political figure when he was doing drag?
Absolutely. It was a subversive act of revolution, especially when you could get arrested. And
Well,
so
yeah,
he
because
developed,
Yeah.
I am a boy. Because you couldn't get arrested if you could prove to the cops that I'm not perpetrating a public hoax. This is all camp. It's whimsy, and it's funny, and I'm pretty. But Paul Lynde and Charles Nelson Riley were the best we had for gay advocates back then. So he was a pioneer. And as any good leading lady, he was the star of his own shows. He's been the star of his own life.
Right.
And very self-invented. But now look at... We couldn't have RuPaul's Drag Race on television.
If you hadn't had Jose Sarria's Black Cat.
Exactly.
Now, when he saw the show, did he give you any tips, whether it were makeup tips,
He
stage
sat for
tips?
45 minutes afterward and held court and spoke, and I sat glued. He sat very apprehensively. And this isn't the Jose Sarria story, it's the Jose Sarria Experience. It takes three of us to tell his story.
So tell us about that. So we're going to go see SexRev, which I
Yes.
imagine stands for Sexual Revolution.
Yes.
The Jose Sarria Experience.
Yes.
And takes three actors,
Three
actresses
actors
to tell the
to
story.
play Jose.
And you're the young, beautiful Jose.
Oh, I wish. No, I'm the doyenne. I am the tragic drag queen, opera diva essence, the fantasy version. This was the lady that lived inside. Then there's our Colombian actor, Carlos Barreras, who gives a more ethnic authenticity and brings Latin machismo into it. Because he was only 4'2", or whatever, however tall he was.
Yeah.
But he was a tough man in a dress. And then we have a beautiful young tranny boy named Jean Franco, who plays young Jose, who was a war veteran. He fought in the Battle of the Bulge.
Jose did?
Yes, he was a proud veteran. And so all three of us interact, and it's tag team, and we go in and out. The real star of the show, though, is San Francisco.
Right.
And we have a character named Donald, who is our surrogate for the audience and for the playwright, who talks about growing up in San Francisco. And he's 10 years old, and he hears about Jose on the bus, and he sneaks by the Black Cat to peek inside. And there's this amazing creation. And then as he and San Francisco evolve, Jose keeps popping up in unexpected ways, always a pioneer, always pushing forward this new approach to life. And in so doing, we see political activism being born.
Right. Now, what have you learned as not just an actor, but as a gay man from meeting Jose and the history? I mean, I think, well, I mean, you've been an actor here in San Francisco for a long time. You knew about Jose and probably knew his history, but
Sure.
What new did you learn from him?
What new did I learn from Jose? Well, the best thing I learned is to sit stone-faced when watching a play about yourself. And don't give too much away, because we were nervous enough having him come to see it. But then afterwards, he gave each of us a big hug and said, thank you. And then he spoke, and we all asked questions, and he's still very good friends with some of the younger actors in the show, if you'll catch my meaning. But what I learned from Jose is that you don't ask for permission because people say no. And we're still asking for permission for our gay rights. May we please be gay and live openly and legally?
Right, and in
they say no.
1958, he just did it.
Yes.
And he was arrested more than once. I mean, he was in trouble with the law a lot.
Which is why he became a waitress at the Black Cat, because he couldn't get employment. He had a record and public lewdness on his record. Back in the day, if you're in the wrong gay bar at the wrong time and the police come raid it, the next morning your name is in the paper, your picture's in the paper, your home address, where you work. Your life is over. A lot of people committed suicide back then.
Right.
And Jose became a legal advocate for them. He told them, don't plead guilty, demand a jury trial, because then it'll get dismissed.
Right, because no one wanted to have this political activism
No.
with reporters and whatnot in the full light of day.
Yeah. And there was everything was just under the carpet back then. People were paying off the carps, and vice and graft and corruption was just accepted as a way of life.
Right. Where did Jose come from? You said he was a veteran in the Battle of the Bulge, but where did he come from before he became the Empress?
He was a San Francisco native, or moved here very, very young. And his mother was a fiery Latina and separated from his father at a very early age.
I see something like a 1940s version of Rita Moreno. I don't know.
I think he would like that, that same comparison. And his aunties and his mother let him dress up like Shirley Temple and sing and dance around the house.
So there wasn't this bias. There wasn't
Never.
like, oh, my son is a raging queen.
No. Well, it was, thank God my son is a raging queen. And that he makes this world a prettier, lovelier place, and he loves to sing, and he loves opera, and it was just the relationships that mama's boys have with their mothers, especially in a Latin family when you're the only son. And so he never felt that doing drag was out of the ordinary, except when he started doing it as a grown-up and was finding it was trouble. But of course, that only invited further exploration to push the envelope and push the boundaries.
Do you think nowadays in the gay community we have forgotten the political nature of drag?
Absolutely.
And we just see it as kind of something fun that you see at a brunch on Sunday.
People see it as a way to find fame. I mean, we have drag queens on TV competing now, and every bar has a drag show. But when Jose was around, they didn't have clear glass windows on the gay bars. They painted them over. It was all secret and hidden. And so much of today's gay culture is this packaged commodity. We have gay magazines now, and gay hair salons, and gay gyms, and gay clothing shops.
And gay TV shows.
And gay TV, and they sell a lot of vodka to the gay. We're a fabulous consumer demographic, but we're still not a voting bloc. Because we're so
and we still
obsessed
can't
with
be legally married except
extravagant
in 5
consumerism,
states.
all these things. And we're not, if we woke up at 6 in the morning and signed petitions and organized and got out there instead of coming home stumbling drunk at 6 in the morning, as some of us often do, maybe we would get further. And I think our priorities are askew, and I think that is capitalized on, literally. They want gay people to be distracted with the frivolity of being gay.
If we're busy buying stuff, we forget the fact that we don't have equal rights.
And I think it's the extremist example of taxation without representation. What do we have? 2, 3 openly gay congresspeople 50 years later?
Yeah, openly being the operative word. We've been speaking with Tom Orr, or I should say the Empress Norton.
Jose Julio
and
Sarria.
And I want to say this out there. We would love to have the original Jose Sarria as a guest on our show. Next up, we'll be talking to one of the members of the world's oldest LGBT swim group, the Tsunamis. We'll
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, darling, thank you. Oh.